talk about the opinions about Canelo and Terence Crawford are starting to turn. Danny Jacobs has now come out and talked about. We'll get to that in a minute about how he thinks Canelo Alvarez is, might have a problem on his hands with with Terence Crawford. And now Robert Garcia is now saying that Canelo might have a problem in his hands with Terence Crawford. I mean, Alexander Usyk came out and picked Terence Crawford. People say, well, they friends, though. Well, it's a bunch of friends in the industry. Friends. How many? I don't even like Houdini. But a lot of people starting to come around, and is it to the fact that Canelo started to slow down? Like I told y'all, Munguia couldn't train for about a month leading up to the Canelo fight, so he didn't beat the best version of Munguia. A guy that said he felt tired after like the third round. So he didn't beat the best version of Jaime Munguia. And they say, well, Canelo starting to slow down and this, that, and the third. And a lot of people starting to believe now things can change. Israel Madamov can come in there and, drop Terence Crawford or do something, have a more competitive fight that people think win. And I told you Crawford wouldn't shit. I told you he couldn't do shit with Canelo. And you know how it is. It is a Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately, box community. But a lot of people starting to believe that Terence Crawford got a shot. Now, is that because of the Munguia performance? Is that because of the Charlo performance? Is that because of how good Terence Crawford is? I think it's a combination of things, but also is that the reluctance of Canelo to fight him. Now, it seems to be an understanding that Canelo may have two fights. And I'm going to get to that video. I don't know which one you're going to see first. That it might be an understanding that Canelo may have two fights where, he may fight either Canelo may fight Jamal and Berlanga next and then fight William Skull. Or it may just be like I vacate that IBF and I fight Berlanga one fight or Charlo one fight. And then it seems to be a understanding that Crawford team is acting like there may be an understanding that, hey, Canelo might be after those fights. So Crawford could be going for history as far as undisputed. I mean, if Errol Spence beat, Fondor, he said he wanted to do it again, and then the IBF guy got the last title. If I'm Jamal Charlo, I'm getting my black ass in the mix. To be honest, yeah. My Charles the White Boys, I'm getting my black ass in the mix. But nonetheless, let's see what old Robert Garcia got to say. He said, I think it's a big fight because Crawford is a huge pound number one, number two, number three for a lot of people. He does have skill, said Robert Garcia to KO Sports. He said it'll be a fight that does really good numbers, and I think that's a fight that will sell. Crawford will put up good rounds. I think Canelo is a bigger guy, more experienced, and I think in the later rounds he'll catch him and maybe stop him. But Crawford will put up a good fight, I know for a fact. Garcia. And the thing about that, is that when you the bigger guy, and you just, even without applying pressure, okay? I mean, just applying the pressure and not just, throwing punches, but you just applying pressure. Even with you applying that pressure, that weighs on a fighter mentally and physically. Let me say that. Just you moving forward in the idea and the mental fatigue of the damage that you can cause. You know what I'm saying? Just the mental fatigue of that. So, that's something really to look at, man. Just the mental fatigue in that, man, is bananas. So, but hitting him on the arms and wearing him down, and in the later rounds, guys started to slow down. But what works in Crawford's favor is this. Canelo ain't really stepped it up. He got lazy. Canelo ain't one of those fighters, and historically has never been one of those fighters consistently that has got stronger as the fights go on. Terence Crawford is one of those guys. As the fight go on, he get better. Now that's yet to be seen with putting weight on his body. So with putting the weight on, that's yet to be seen. Putting that weight on is yet to be seen. So if he can still get stronger and better throughout the fight, you know, then Canelo gonna lose, bro. If he's still hanging around the championship rounds, and Canelo starting to fade condition wise, but Bud starting to step it up, he gonna lose. He gonna lose. Canelo's got very, very lazy and complacent, and that's just what it is, you know. So when we started to kind of talk about that, we started to talk about that, man. So that's one thing to think about. But to be honest, experience at this point, you throw that shit out the window. They both got experience. You throw it out the window. They both experienced fighters. And that's one thing that we all know. They both experienced fighters. They both seasoned fighters. And if I'm being honest, Crawford's the better fighter. But when you throw in the weight, but also you got to ask yourself, how the weight plays a part, right? In both. How does Crawford put the weight on? How's Canelo making the cut? I told y'all when you rolling through weight classes, let me tell you this. When you rolling through weight classes, you overstand your welcome like he did at 54 and 55, man, you start outgrowing weight classes quick. That's why at 60 you only had a handful of fights. You start outgrowing weight classes quick. Yep, you start outgrowing weight classes real quick, fast, in a hurry. So you got to understand that part of the game too. Them weight classes you outgrow real fast. So, but Danny Jacobs, Terence Crawford to overcome size advantage against Canelo. So he said skills sometimes pay the bills. We know that Crawford has skills or Canelo, said Jacobs to Fight Hub TV about Crawford having a technical skill to defeat the bigger undisputed super middleweight champion in Terence Crawford, and Canelo Alvarez. He said sometimes power, weight, experience in that way, and he said sometimes power, weight, and experience in that. So it'll be a good test for Crawford, but the fans are the winner, particularly this fight pans out. Jacobs talked about Canelo Crawford matchup. He said, but Crawford has a tough one. You know that. So that's pretty much what he said. He kept a political answer, but people starting to believe. He also, went on to talk about how what was a video, but he also went to talk about pretty much how, he can overcome that power, and Canelo really can crack though. But I remember hearing Andre Ward say something about, Virgil Hunter. He was fighting. He was talking to a football team or whatever. He was talking about how Virgil Hunter prepared him. How Virgil Hunter prepared him for a fight with Edison Miranda. And Edison Miranda was a big puncher. I think we all know that. He was a huge puncher. And if you remember him, and he, Andre Ward was transparent. He said, well, I really wasn't trying to fight old buddy for real. And Virgil said you have to mentally prepare yourself to take the punch. And I'll tell you this about life, especially in work, when you mentally prepare, okay, Wednesday gonna be a tough day at work. You mentally prepared, but you be like, well, let's say Fridays are usually easy at work. Like, okay, Friday's the easy day, right? And then Friday turned into a Tuesday. That can be mentally draining, bro. That can drain you, for the weekend. That can take away your excitement, your enthusiasm, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? So kind of when you start to talk about mentally preparing yourself, when you talk about mentally preparing yourself, that's real. That's real. If you mentally prepare yourself to take a punch, or mentally prepare yourself for a tough situation or a tough day, a lot of times it ain't as bad as you think it was because you mentally prepared yourself. Like if you could see a punch, you can take it, but the punches that you don't see is the ones that that does the real damage. That's telling you if you got a real chin. If you can take a big counter punch you don't see and you can come back, that's if you got a real chin. But if you can mentally prepare yourself to take the punch of the day, to take the punch in the ring, to take the punch of life, cool. Like when you see people like go through something traumatic, and it's unexpected death or unexpected whatever, it hit different, and it hit like a punch you don't see coming because you didn't brace for it, you didn't prepare for it. And you'll see with a lot of men, as they go through life, because they handle us like villains, you know what I'm saying? And they handle women with kid cups. But I'm gonna talk about that on Patreon at some point. It's on my list to do. But we get to the point in life where you may not be there yet, depending on what age you are, where you expect the worst. You prepare for the worst. Every situation, you expect the worst. You brace for the worst, and that's how we think as men. There's no way you can unthink that way. That's just the way life has taught us, most of us. So, like I said, if he can take the punch, and he can deal with the pressure, then he got a chance. I still pick Canelo. I'm pulling from Bud, and pick Canelo. I'll do the logical thing, but if he beat Canelo Alvarez, it's gonna be hard for people to unsee what they saw. He gonna go down as the top 5 fighter of all time. Excuse me, in a lot of people's opinion. Some people may call him the GOAT, but it's what have you done for me lately? I seen it in 5K, 4K. They probably got 7K, 9K. I seen it. It wasn't in black and white. It wasn't this, that, and the third. So y'all know what the business is, though. But hey, check out the Box News playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance. Get notifications. We go live or drop video. Financially, you want to support the channel. Cash App, $ CJ Good 313. Venmo, CJ Good 313. PayPal link in description. I do appreciate everybody for supporting the channel. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. I hit the link tree, find me everywhere. Peace.